a good shake. So, roll up your sleeves, wash your hands, and pay attention. We're diving headfirst into a world of tangy, fizzy, funky goodness. From spicy kimchi to beautiful silky miso, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom. By the end of this, you'll be fermenting like a pro, and your body will thank you for it. First up, the king of fermented foods, kimchi. This isn't just pickled cabbage, you donkeys. This is a cornerstone of Korean cuisine, a symphony of spicy, sour, and umami that will wake up every single taste bud you have. It's bursting with probiotics, specifically lactobacillus, which is absolutely brilliant for your digestive health. It's also packed with vitamins A, B, and C. Making it is a ritual, a beautiful process of layering flavors. We take a humble Napa cabbage and we transform it into a culinary masterpiece. It's alive, it's vibrant, and it is bloody delicious. We start with the cabbage. You salt it, you let it weep, drawing out the water to get that perfect texture. Not mushy, but tender with a slight crunch. This is a crucial step, don't rush it. While that's happening, we create the heart and soul of the kimchi, the paste. A fiery blend of gochugaru, Korean chili flakes, garlic, ginger, a touch of fish sauce for that deep umami kick, and some shredded daikon and carrots for sweetness and texture. The smell alone is intoxicating. It's a promise of the flavor explosion to come. Get every ingredient fresh, no shortcuts. Now for the magic. You take that beautiful fiery red paste and you massage it into every single leaf of the cabbage. Get in there with your hands. Show it some love, some passion. Every nook, every cranny must be coated in this glorious mixture. Then you pack it tight into a jar, pressing down to remove any air pockets. This is where the fermentation begins. The bacteria get to work, eating the sugars and creating that signature tangy flavor. Leave it at room temperature for a few days, then into the fridge it goes. Patience. The reward is a stunning homemade kimchi that will blow your mind. Next, sauerkraut. Forget that sad grey mush you get in a can. Real homemade sauerkraut is crisp, tangy, and unbelievably good for you. It is the definition of simplicity. 2 ingredients, that's it, cabbage and salt. If you can't handle 2 ingredients, then get out of the kitchen. This is peasant food elevated to genius level. The fermentation process unlocks a powerhouse of gut-loving probiotics, far more than you'd find in yogurt. It's a digestive aid, an immune booster, and it costs pennies to make. It's clean, it's pure, it's brilliant. So how do we do it? You take a beautiful fresh head of cabbage and you shred it, thinly. We want delicate ribbons, not clumsy chunks. Use a mandolin if you have one. Be careful with your fingers, or a very sharp knife. Precision is key. Once it's shredded, you put it in a large bowl and add the salt. The salt is not just for flavor, it's the catalyst. It draws the water out of the cabbage to create its own brine. No water needed. The cabbage makes its own juice. How stunning is that? Now get your hands in there and massage it. Squeeze it, punch it, work it like you're kneading dough. For about 10 minutes, you'll see the transformation. It will wilt, it will soften, and a pool of brine will form at the bottom of the bowl. That's your liquid gold. Pack the cabbage and all its juice tightly into a jar, pressing it down so the brine covers the top. This is non-negotiable. The brine protects the cabbage from mold. Weigh it down, seal it, and let it ferment for a week or even a month. The longer it goes, the tangier it gets. Beautiful. Alright, let's talk drinks. Kombucha. This isn't your average sugary soda. This is a living, breathing, fermented tea that is as delicious as it is beneficial. It's fizzy, it's tangy, and you can flavor it in a million different ways. The magic behind kombucha is the SCOBY, a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It looks a bit strange, I'll give you that, like a pale, rubbery pancake. But this little creature is your ticket to a fantastic, refreshing beverage that supports digestion with its wealth of probiotics and beneficial acids. It's a sophisticated, healthy alternative to all that other rubbish. To start, you need a SCOBY. You can get one from a friend, buy one online, or even grow your own from a bottle of raw, unpasteurized kombucha. First, you brew a large batch of sweet tea. Black or green tea works beautifully. Use real sugar, not some fake sweetener. You donut. The SCOBY needs the sugar to eat. It's food for the culture. Let the tea cool down completely. This is vital. If you put the SCOBY in hot tea, you'll kill it. Dead. And then you've got nothing. So, patience. Once the tea is at room temperature, you pour it into a large glass jar. Add your SCOBY and a cup of starter liquid from a previous batch. Cover the jar with a cloth, not a lid. because it needs to breathe. And then you wait. Let it ferment for a week or two in a dark corner of your kitchen. You'll see bubbles forming and the taste will go from sweet to tart. Once you like the flavor, it's ready for a second fermentation where you can add fruits or ginger to create natural carbonation and stunning flavors. It's a science experiment you can drink. Now for something truly soulful, miso soup. This is more than just a starter at a Japanese restaurant. This is a warm, comforting hug in a bowl. The star of the show is miso paste, a fermented soybean paste that is one of the greatest flavor enhancers on the planet. Deep, salty, savory, it's the definition of umami. But it's not just about taste. Miso is a fermented food, rich in probiotics and enzymes that aid digestion. It's also known for boosting the immune system. Making a proper miso soup from scratch is simple, elegant, and profoundly satisfying. The base of any good miso soup is dashi, a Japanese soup stock. You can buy instant dashi, but making it yourself is ridiculously easy and 1,000 times better. It's just kombu, that's dried kelp, and bonito flakes, which are dried fermented smoked tuna. You gently heat the kombu in water, then add the bonito flakes and strain. The result is a clear, delicate broth with incredible depth of flavor. This is the canvas on which we will paint our masterpiece. Don't you dare use plain water. That's just lazy. With your beautiful dashi ready, the rest is a walk in the park. You add some soft tofu, cut into perfect little cubes, and some rehydrated wakame seaweed. Now for the most important part, the miso. You take a ladle of the warm dashi, and you dissolve the miso paste in it before adding it back to the pot. Never, ever boil miso. Boiling it kills all the wonderful probiotics and destroys its delicate flavor. You just want to gently heat it through. Garnish with some finely sliced spring onions. There, a perfect life-affirming bowl of soup. Absolutely stunning. Finally, a classic, yogurt. But I'm not talking about those little plastic pots full of sugar and artificial fruit flavor. I'm talking about real homemade yogurt. Thick, creamy, tangy, and packed with live, active cultures. It's a protein powerhouse. It's full of calcium for strong bones, and the probiotics are fantastic for your gut. Making it yourself is not only cheaper, but it puts you in complete control. You know exactly what's in it. Milk and a starter culture. That's it. Pure, simple, and bloody good for you. It's the foundation of a healthy breakfast. The process is all about temperature control. Get it wrong, and you'll end up with, well, just milk. You start by gently heating the milk to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 degrees Celsius. This changes the protein structure, which results in a thicker, creamier yogurt. Don't scald it, keep an eye on it. Once it hits temperature, you need to cool it back down to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius. This is the perfect temperature for the bacteria to thrive. Too hot, they die. Too cold, they won't wake up. Use a thermometer, you donkey. Don't guess. Once your milk is at the perfect temperature, you introduce the starter. This can be a spoonful of your last batch of homemade yogurt, or a good quality, plain store-bought yogurt with live cultures. Whisk it in gently but thoroughly. Then you need to keep it warm for several hours. An oven with the light on, a yogurt maker, or even a cooler with hot water bottles will do the trick. Just let it sit, undisturbed, for 8 to 12 hours. It will magically transform into thick, beautiful yogurt. Strain it through cheesecloth for a Greek-style yogurt that is out of this world. Delicious. So there you have it. 5 incredible, life-changing recipes that will transform the way you eat. We've tamed the wild world of fermentation, from fiery kimchi to creamy, luscious yogurt. You've seen how simple it is. There are no more excuses for buying that overpriced, second-rate rubbish from the shops. You now have the knowledge and the power to create these gut-healthy, flavor-packed foods in your own home. This is about taking control of your food, understanding where it comes from, and nourishing your body from the inside out. It's a beautiful thing. Now the challenge is yours. I want you to get in the kitchen and start fermenting. Don't be timid, be bold, try the kimchi, brew the kombucha, make the sauerkraut. And when you do, I want to hear all about it. Get down in the comments section below and tell me how you got on. Share your triumphs, your flavor combinations, even your disasters. We can all learn from them. Let's build a community of fermentation fanatics right here. Let me know which recipe was your favorite and what you want to see me tackle next. And if you want more recipes that are honest, delicious, and good for you, then do the smart thing. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you don't miss a single video. We've got so much more to cook, so much more to explore. Stop being a spectator and start being a chef in your own kitchen. Well done, everybody. Now piss off and get cooking.